Hi guys, if you saw my video from the other day, the comp day, then you'll know that still my legs and my feet are aching a bit because I had to do a bit of a jog in the morning to make a second train that I was not even meant to get because my first one was cancelled. Um, but yeah, I was thinking earlier today that it was a very good job that I had brought a second pair of shoes because, as I mentioned on the day, I've got a new pair of boots that I was going to wear, and I thought I didn't really want to walk the first half hour to my nearest train station and then all around Brighton, which is a very hilly place, all of that in newish shoes. So I brought a pair of trainers as well, which turned out to be a very very good idea because I ended up having to go on a little impromptu jog at 6 o'clock in the morning, which was not ideal. And it could have been a lot worse because I could have been wearing, many other pairs of shoes. Yeah, because I've spent quite a lot on shoes in my time. It's funny because before I properly realized that I was non-binary and came out and all of that. Before that, I was 100% sure I was never going to be the kind of person that's that bothered about clothes or shoes or accessories or whatever, and I completely have turned into that kind of person, which is quite funny. But yeah, I have a lot of shoes that I've spent quite a bit of money on, as you can tell by the title of this. And it started mainly in university, because in the centre of Oxford, in the shopping centre, there is a Doc Martens shop, and I had never owned a pair before. And being in Oxford, loads of people have them, but quite a few times I ended up going past the shop and seeing the different designs, and I started wanting a pair. And obviously, if you know Doc Martens, especially when they're new, they're very expensive. We're talking triple digits per pair. And so the first pair I had my eyes on were these, which have got roses on the side. I don't know if you can tell. I'll kind of show them a bit closer, but the roses are sort of embroidered. They're stitched on, which is really cool. And it's proper nice, soft leather as well. And I'd seen these before, and I thought they looked really really nice. And so I ended up asking for those for Christmas, which was really cool. So I got them. They were about 160 quid or something. And also, as you can see, we had some rainbow laces, which I immediately put on them because I thought it would look really cool, and that is a decision I completely stand by because I think these look amazing. And they're super super comfortable. I know docs have this reputation of being really uncomfortable at the start. You have to really break them in. These ones I got lucky because the leather is quite soft. It's, as you can see, it's not shiny. It's the kind of matte leather. It feels like proper, feels like really proper leather. You can, bend it and all of that. As with any shoes that aren't basically trainers or anything like that, they do, rub a little bit after a while, after a full day of wearing them. And obviously I walk around a lot of places, so I've definitely still had blisters and that from them before, but on the whole they're really comfortable. So yeah, those are really cool, and they started a bit of a trend for me because literally 3 months later, my dad sent me a message about something he'd seen, an advert that he'd seen for some more docs, and this was around February time. And it was Chinese New Year, and it was the year of the tiger, which is, my spirit animal. And so Docs were doing a year of the tiger themed sort of limited edition pair. And obviously I was like, okay, well, you send me this and you expect me not to buy them. Of course I'm going to buy them. So here they are. They have red soles, which is really cool. They're little bit dirty and old, but I've had them for several years, so you would expect that. But yeah, the design is so cool. This, I don't know if you can see that well, but the leather is slightly shinier, so it's not quite the same as my rose ones. But they've got really really nice tiger and cloud designs on there. And having since studied Chinese art at uni, this is really really cool. It's very reflective of that kind of style. So I absolutely love the design, and it's not on this one. It's on this one. The lace, the bottom lace, has a tiger's tooth I'm assuming it's a tooth, it might be a claw, but it's something like that, a little emblem on the bottom, which is really, really cool. And those, I had to actually get a size bigger than I would have got because certainly in dock sizes, I normally take a 9. But when I looked at the 9s weren't available, and so I had to get a 10 instead. And honestly, that's probably a good thing because, as I said, the leather on these is different. It's or it was certainly when they were new, slightly shinier and slightly more rigid, a bit less flexible. It's not too, but obviously, like they still bend. They're not like solid. I had to break those in a little bit more, and it's kind of a good thing I didn't get them a size smaller because otherwise I think they would have hurt a lot more than they did. Yeah, those are not too bad. Yeah, I don't tend to wear those as often. I probably should try and get some more wear out of those because they are really, really nice. The only thing is again, I don't know if you can tell, the sort of the darker black like material that they've got on the outside. It's kind of like a velvety. There you go. You might be able to see a bit better there. It's kind of like a velvety kind of thing. It's like fabric, but it gets dusty really easily. And I don't know what it is about my house, but there just seems to be so much dust everywhere. Even when I like dust things off, it gets dirty again. And the velvet, particularly, or the fabricy, whatever it is, that accumulates dust. So they don't quite look as good right now as they probably do when they've been cleaned. Still really cool, like special edition to have. And then finally, we have these monsters. These are the really thick soled ones, the like 2-inch plus thick soles. But I saw those and thought I really had to get a pair. And I possibly did make a mistake with the exact pair with these because these are the actual leather on here is the really shiny leather, and especially around the back it's more solid. These are an absolute nightmare to wear for more than like 2 hours. They rub so much on the back of my heels especially. I get blisters like on the bottom of my feet, even if I walk in trainers for like a lot of the day. So I'm kind of used to that, but the backs of my heels are really, really bad in those, which is a shame because they're so cool and I wish I could wear them more. I've done them to a few comps and it's been slightly painful. I think slight might be an understatement, to be honest. But yeah, they're also really heavy. I know I did a couple of comps from when I was still in Oxford with those. And again, I figured like I wouldn't wear them while walking like to the train station and that. And so I had them in a separate bag, and they're just so heavy. Like it's all in the soles. Like I don't know if you can tell, the soles are kind of they are kind of like rubber, but obviously they're really thick and they're like solid all the way through. So they're so heavy, and it doesn't make them that much harder to walk in. Like just we're like disregarding the actual like pain and the rubbing and everything. Just the fact that they're heavier doesn't make them too much harder to walk in. It's just the soles aren't quite as flexible. Like with my Rose pair, you can pretty easily like flex the soles, and so you completely don't notice when you're walking in them. But these, you do kind of feel like you're clomping around a bit, which it's fine. Like they're not designed for like long distance walks. But yeah, on these I did used to have a bit like I had on these. I've got obviously the rainbow laces on these, which are really cool, and I like them a lot, obviously. And I think the rainbow laces, actually, I can't remember where we got them from. I think we just like had them around. But yeah, anyway, so I did, because of that, after I put the rainbow laces on there, I thought they were really cool, and so I got another pair. I got some non-binary laces, which I did have on these. I put them on these basically as soon as I got them. I had them on there for like years, and it was only actually when I got my new pair of boots the other month that I thought, because I don't wear these as much anymore because they are quite uncomfortable, I thought I'd put them on my new pair because I figured I'd wear my new pair quite a lot more. I think I will. I think that's a good decision. I think the non-binary laces did their time on these, and also I still had these original like yellow and black. I think you can kind of see the sort of the classic dock laces on these, and I think these look almost as good on here. So I'm happy to have them on there. But yeah, so in total, it's quite a lot of money, as I've said. So we have the Rose pair that costs about 160, except with the caveat that I didn't buy these. These were a present. So we had these that were 160. I think these, the Year of the Tiger ones, the limited edition ones, were 180, I think. Again, this is all years ago. I can't really remember too well. And then the Max ones were 210, I'm pretty sure. I'm struggling to hold them all. Yeah, so this is just half of this is like the right shoe each, but this is £550 worth of shoes in 3 pairs, which is slightly ridiculous. And there are certainly other pairs of shoes as well that I have spent quite a lot of money on. Obviously, nowhere near as much as that, but I've had several various other pairs of like boots or heels that I've worn that have cost like 50 or over, or like in that range at least. And I don't regret any of them. Obviously, I've turned into the person that definitely does like shoes and accessories and all that kind of thing. So I don't regret anything. Yeah, they do hurt my feet though. So sadly, I don't wear them quite as much as I would like. But definitely to some comps, I'll bring them out from time to time. Yeah, a lot of money, but a lot of fun, worth it. And that's the other thing as well. Docs are expensive, but they do last. They really, really do last. Like these ones especially, I can tell because where the leather is quite soft and it's flexible, it sort of like molds into the not quite like the shape of your feet, but where it bends where your like feet and your ankle joints bend and that, so it is really like comfortable, and it's just I can tell it's just going to last a long time, which is really good. So that means hopefully eventually I will get that £550 worth of value out of these. Hopefully, yeah, one day. That'll be probably quite far in the future though. But yeah. So until then, I will see you tomorrow.